Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Duplex Build to Rent. My name is Juan Cristales, and someone recently asked me kind of a challenging question, specifically about why I do these boring YouTube videos about building the same duplex over and over and over and over. It's kind of boring. I get it. But here's the thing. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why I keep doing these videos, and the very first one is going to be accountability. Now, believe it or not, I have to record these videos, and I also have to ensure that the things are getting done correctly, because I don't want to be presenting out there into the world like something that's being shoddy or something that's being done incorrectly. And you also pull out certain things that you overlook when you don't record your videos as you're going through. A perfect example of this right now is going to be this guy wire right here. You see this yellow thing here? This guy wire, G-U-Y, basically what it is, it's holding up an electric pole that's over here on this side. This guy wire needs to be moved because you know why? We have the driveway that's going to be coming in here at some point in the future. And it's probably going to take the electricity company a few weeks to get to it and get it moved over in that direction. So those are the small things that in accountability that help me whenever I do this stuff. And I'm committed to transparency, guys, but that's one of the big things is the accountability aspect of it. The second part about it is going to be that I know that other people are watching. And I didn't realize this until very many years later, but other people, whether they're private lenders, other business opportunities, even vendors who are able to potentially give us better deals on some of the material and stuff, they're looking for businesses like, hey man, we'd like to bid it, we'd like to compete. And so from that perspective, people see you continually in the business, continually doing transactions, continually doing new construction projects, whatever it is that you're doing. And so that gives you that exposure that you wouldn't normally get. And then the third thing is that, it's a means of communication. So for example, if I'm going through one of these videos or going through one of these projects and I point something out that I know needs to be addressed, it's very easy for me to just send a contractor a video from YouTube and say, hey man, I made this video. Check it out right at minute 1.5 or whatever the case is. I need you to look at that because that's something that you need to address. So it's a means of communication in that regard. It's also a means of communication to the people who want to learn about this stuff, and also one level up, which is going to be the lenders, right? Whether it's a bank or a private lender or something like that, they want to see updates, regular updates on their projects. And so it makes it easy. So it kills 3 birds with 1 stone by making these videos. And that's one of the reasons why I keep making these boring YouTube videos over and over again about the same projects I keep doing. So let's get into this one here. And here we go. All right. So we have the installation in. So we had the installation inspection. So there's several inspections that happen right at the very beginning. The first, once the framing is done, you have the MEPs, right? You're talking about the mechanical, the electrical, and the plumbing. We've already passed those inspections. After those 3 inspections, you have to stand a framing inspection and a wind bracing inspection here in the state of Texas in Montgomery County where we are. So we passed that inspection. We cannot put the insulation in until we've done all 5 of those inspections. Once those inspections are completed and passed, then we can go ahead and start covering up and doing all of the insulation. Let me show you something here real quick. You see this little area right there? This has been a point of contention for me for a while now, because the framers don't really frame that in a manner that is conducive to be able to hold that insulation up there. And so what happens is, if you notice, we go back just a tad here, what happens is right outside the front door, there's air that comes in there that could potentially come in, and then the air goes into the attic, and it's just basically, it kills your energy efficiency at some point, basically. So that's why now I block it in like that. We got the firewall. We have one side of the firewall in. I'm going to show you the other side of this 106 Runnell Street here in a second. The installation guy also leaves a piece of, you saw that R30, he leaves a piece of it there so he can show, hey, this is the stuff that we used. Hey, Daddy, and remember, these were the duplexes that we went ahead and eliminated the window in the back over here. We eliminated the window in the back, and we put this other stuff in the back so that it would be moisture barrier. All right, so now we are on the opposite side of this 106 Runnels, and if you can see here, the installation is getting done. the insulation for the firewall has to go all the way to the very, very, very top. Okay. And that's another reason why I make these videos, because if the city ever challenges me on some of this stuff not being done correctly, I can show them proof that, look, here's the insulation that goes all the way to the very top of the ceiling in that firewall according to what needs to be done. But today, whenever they went out there to do the inspection, they also looked at that. Here's what I was showing you guys. Look, believe it or not, I mean, yes, this stuff gets caulked in and whatnot, but when it gets freezing cold outside, I'm sure that air can get in through there, and this area is not required to be insulated because it's outside. So how do we keep that cold air out? Is we put that those pieces of insulation right there on the side, straight up. So it is looking good, guys. Now you're going to ask, why is there insulation in some spots up at the top and not others? It's pretty simple. So right here is very hard to reach with the blown-in insulation. So they use this big tube, they blow it in there, and it's very difficult to reach all the way out there, so the city requires it. But over here, where it is not, you see right there? The reason why is because there's a platform, there's a 3/4 inch piece of plywood where you can stand on it, and once you put that piece of plywood and then you put the sheetrock up, how are you going to get insulation in there? You can't. So we put the insulation in before the plywood goes up, because once we do the blown insulation, you can't get into there. It's impossible, even with the blown insulation. That is going to be it for this 106. The next one we're going to go to next is going to be the 104 runnels. Okay, so here we are. The 106 runnels is going to be here in the background. And then right now we are moving over to the 104 runnels, which is going to be the one immediately to the right of that one. Now this one here, we already have the sheetrock in. This one is already all covered in. So nobody worked today at this particular project. The sheetrock is a finished product that needs to be a little bit meticulous. Okay, I want these guys to take their time. I don't want them to be sloppy with it, because it's the first thing people see when they come into the house. I want to show you here the rounded corners and how we do this stuff here. So you see how the rounded edges go all the way around the window. So these guys are allowing this stuff to dry and harden. The good thing is that it's not super cold yet, and it's pretty hot, so it doesn't take very long. You see the darker spots? Those darker spots are it's still wet. And so basically what happens is that these guys allow it to harden really well. They'll sand it down to make sure that it's all smooth, and wherever you have the joints, and by joints I mean here, you see right here, for some of you guys who are kind of new to this stuff, this is one piece of plywood here, okay? This is another piece of plywood here, and this is another piece of plywood here, and that's why they put these pieces of you have these things here. So this is one piece here, this is another piece here. We can call that one 4, we can call this one 5. But anyways, but you guys get what I'm saying. And so in order for those joints, those seams to not be seen, they put that tape on there, and then they put mud over it, so that way it's very easy to just to look at, or very easy to sand down, and then once it's sanded down, they'll put the texture up. So I'm also making sure that they've gotten everything completed, because these guys, they're getting ready. So once they do the sanding and the texture, that's when they're going to be asking for payment. I'm going to have to go through here and be a little bit more meticulous. I'm telling you guys, you want to go out there with the actual contractor as you're going through, so that you can point out any issues of concern that you have. Now, why don't we have any sheetrock in here? Because here we're going to use the actual backer board. We're not going to use just traditional sheetrock for the tile that's going to go in this one. So this is the 104 runnels. This is the other side, or the other duplex, I'm sorry. And this one, we did not do the tub inserts. So this is what I was pointing at here. You see how this is darker right here? And the reason why it's darker is because it's still wet. And so we need to let that stuff just dry up and harden really, really well before they'll start doing the actual sanding on it. And it does look a little bit, haphazard right now, but that's because they're going relatively quick. But once they do the sanding, that's when they go through. It's very fine, detailed, and that's when you start seeing imperfections in the sheetrock. There's a little walk-in closet, making sure there's sheetrock everywhere. And that's it. So the next step of this here is going to be to sand it down completely. And once it's completely sanded down, they'll go ahead and do the texture. And then the texture, we need to let that dry up. And at that point, really, and this is another thing, it's another point of communication, because whenever we are dealing with the lenders, we tell them, hey, look, once we get to the sheetrock phase, we're done with the sheetrock. That's when we're going to request, the final draw, or pretty much the next draw. So that's where we are with this particular project, guys. Hopefully you guys have learned something from it. Remember, the reason we do these videos because of accountability. Other people are watching, and then, it's a means of communication across, multiple trades, up, down, left, and right. And I think that, if you guys are comfortable just getting on camera, you don't even have to show your face, but just talk through the process. It really is going to help you kind of see certain things that you wouldn't normally see whenever you're going through this, process of building. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. Thanks so much for watching. I will talk to you soon.